Cleveland Browns figured something out when nobody else did, and it is paying off huge. If you're new to the channel, we're Detroit Lions fans, but we have this channel covering teams that don't get the love nationally like they should. And really lately, we've settled in on the Cleveland Browns because this team's not getting any recognition really nationally for how incredible their season has gone all the way from the beginning of the year till now. And obviously, it's gotten really hot as of late. But going into this season, there was some premier quarterbacks out there. Aaron Rodgers, of course, is going to the Jets. Joe Burrow is coming back off a stellar year. Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. Russell Wilson, could he bounce back? A lot of different question marks at quarterback, but all those guys have gotten injured or fallen out of favor. And when other teams could have taken Joe Flacco, the Cleveland Browns took him, and it's been outstanding. So Aaron Rodgers goes down right away. The Jets have just brutally struggled at quarterback. They could have got him. They didn't. Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. Cincinnati is okay with their backup quarterback, but I mean, look at the way Joe Flacco's playing. You would take him all day. So let's take a look at a couple things here. It's really interesting. You look at Joe Flacco's 5 games compared to his kind of career regular season. His completion percentage has always been lower. You'd like that up closer to 70%. Now it's lower here at 60 this year just because his first 2 games were pretty bad. But lately he's up in the mid 60s, so that's perfect. But what he's doing this year, and the reason his completion percentage is always down a little bit, is because he pushes the ball downfield so his average throw is almost 8 yards, which is outstanding. I mean, he was already a kind of a guy that was up close to 7. I think the league average is like 6.5. He's up at 7.9. He pushes the ball. He not only does he do that though, but you can see it with some of these throws to Njoku where it's out in front of him just perfectly in stride. And Njoku's able to catch an 8-yard pass and take it 25 yards. That's the little stuff that you can't put a price tag on that Joe Flacco's been able to do. So, and we'll look at a couple other of his stats here, but TD percentage, I mean, is really high right now. He's got a 75-yard pass this year, just in the 5 games, and a 90 rating, which is way above his regular season career average. Now that this could come back down to earth a little bit. We understand he's playing really well, but here's the big area that is just so interesting to me. Joe Flacco is thriving as Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, and $470 million bow out, not of the league, but just season over. Russell Wilson, who knows what his future holds. Deshaun Watson, look, the Cleveland Browns, as good as this decision was, the Watson one still is kind of like, I don't know, fully guaranteed. So that's why you don't do this, because you never know. So look, Jay Mariotti nailed it perfectly. He said, Joe Flacco, who makes $2.5 million this year, it's a reminder of false sensibilities, why a team cracks in paying gross domestic products to Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert when they're injured, or weeps when Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes struggle, or price tags automatically or expects price tags to automatically win postseason games. This is the joy. And a 38-year-old Joe Flacco comes in, calling on him in mid-November. He drove 7 hours to get there, and now look at him. So the article goes on to talk about these high-priced guys that, I don't know, it's a tough league. You don't know. But for the Cleveland Browns to save their season by finding Joe Flacco, going with Joe Flacco, putting the Stefanski, putting the offense around him, allowing him to be really smart with the ball and put him in good positions. And now last week we did a video on this. The running game has really come along. That will be the key. Can the running game, right now it's like Joe Flacco saved the team in the running game, but Flacco's going to come down to earth a little bit more. I'm sure of it. That's fine. Can the running game get going? Joe Flacco's thrown for 300 yards the past 4 weeks. Did a video on this about how Matt Stafford's thrown for 300 yards just once in the last 10 games. Just as some context on that. When you think of a guy that's throwing it around the yard, you think Stafford. They've been playing really well. Flacco is throwing the ball all over the place. When the rest of the NFL could have signed Joe Flacco, they didn't. But the Cleveland Browns found him. Did a video on this as well about how Cleveland Browns have found blue chip players along with depth after depth after depth, along with finding guys right off the street and finding the right guys that can come in to a good culture. Clearly, the Browns have a good culture. They can keep on winning with all the injuries and finding guys that can make and help move the needle. So again, we're Detroit Lions fans, but we love covering the Cleveland Browns because they're real similar to us. They're just a couple franchises hungry to win and both on a great path. And can you imagine a Browns Lions Super Bowl? Oh my gosh, that'd be perfect. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on this one, and we'll see all of you on the next one.